Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a game that is apparently kind of popular. I didn't know it was. I've been finding videos really recommending it. And that's the PlayStation 2 version of I can't say the title, Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. That's a lot of ashes. Anyway, so this is a Mario Kart knockoff, as you probably guessed. Again, it's apparently gained some kind of popularity, either from back in the day in like 2006 when this came out, 20 years ago. That's crazy. It's hard to believe Shrek is older than that as a property, because this was more around Shrek the third movie. And I like Shrek. I love the first two films quite a bit. I loved 3 when I saw it in the theaters, and it hasn't really aged well as like a rewatch, you know? So it is what it is. And 4 I don't like at all, and now we're getting 5, which is crazy. I was curious what this would be like as a Mario Kart knockoff, and at first when I played it like 3 months ago, I didn't like it all that much. I kind of hated it, to be honest with you. And as I've played it more here and there, and especially last night where I played this and a couple other racing games I've been wanting to play on my PS2, it kind of grew on me a little bit, but I still think it's really, really okay to bad. Somewhere in there. I haven't really settled on it. I think I understand what's putting me off so much about this game, but I do want you to know overall I think it's fine. If you're a big Shrek person, I think you'll really dig this. Just try to get it cheap if you can. It's a racing game. You have, just like with Mario Kart, famous parts of the movies that have Shrek things in them. You have power-ups and boosts and stuff you can use to race other people. But a lot of the maps have they just feel generic to me. Yeah, they're very Shrek themed, but they don't feel inspired the way I think those first couple of movies feel. Those first movies, and what made Shrek in general fun, was that it was taking classical fairy tales like Pinocchio and the Gingerbread Man and stuff, and putting all of these things into this wonderful world like they're real, with hilarious animation, hilarious jokes and stuff. It basically took fairy tales that were classical to all these different cultures, especially here in America and in the UK, and the English-speaking language. It took those things and added fart jokes. And that's essentially what Shrek is. And I'm cool with that. That's fine. I love that about it. Matter of fact, it's so unique for its day and age when it came out. But Shrek as a racing game, where the karts handle fairly well, in my opinion, I noticed something this time playing it last night and today that I had not figured out was the problem putting me off. The cars don't make noises. They don't make like engine noises like Mario Kart has or like Lego Racer has. They don't have that because these cars don't have fucking engines. Like Fiona is driving like kind of a play on the Cinderella, thing before the pumpkin turns back into a pumpkin. You know what I mean? That carriage or whatever she's riding in. She's riding like one of those, but as a convertible. It's like a cup with fucking like plant legs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it. My favorite character, the Gingerbread Man, who I love deeply, he's super quotable in here, even though they keep having the voice lines repeated way too often. Like every other word, it's like, taste my frosting, or something like that. He drives like a cupcake horse, which is really cute, and I think it's funny for him, because I love the Gingerbread Man. And not only can you shoot powers at people that you get from the tracks, but you can also hit people. In the case of the Gingerbread Man, you can smack other cars that are too close with a candy cane. And it's supposed to slow them down. It did a couple of times when I was able to do it, when I remembered I could do it. But the cars don't make noises. Because like the Gingerbread Man, for example, is driving a fucking cupcake that's a horse. And so it's just like, I think the wheels are made out of like peppermint candies or something. So there's really like nothing like that. You're hearing sound effects from the environments and the tracks and stuff. You're hearing the other cars. You're hearing them hit each other and hit walls. The sound effects from the power-ups and stuff. That's what you're hearing in this game. But there's no engine noises, at least that I can remember. If you're playing as Donkey, by the way, he drives his wife. He rides his wife. She's shrunk into a smaller dragon, and he rides her around the track. It's pretty gross, but it's metaphoric. It's allegorical. It works. I can't believe I said that. He I think her wings make a flapping noise or a fapping noise, something like that. That's about as good as it gets for sound effects from the cars. And that's what's missing. This whole time I kept trying to figure out what was missing, and it occurred to me because none of the cars make any noises. Graphically, I don't think it actually looks that bad. It actually looks pretty decent for the game, for when it came out 20 years ago. Very impressed with that, to be honest. I think we were a year in at that point, maybe a year and a half into like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. This looks good. They were still making PS2 games. Maybe there's a PS3 version of this game. I don't know. But it kind of plays well. Kinda. And I just wish the tracks were better. And some of the tracks I dig will have bullshit in them. Like, there's one that really pissed me off. Like, there's a horror track. I like that one okay. It's not as good as, like, the Smurfs racing track or, like, the Nickelodeon Grand Prix racing games. Or Nickelodeon Kart Racers. That's what I mean they're called. The second one's called Grand Prix. The tracks aren't as good or unique as that, especially that horror track, like a haunted house track. It's not as good. But then you'll have, like, a lot of castle tracks. One that has, like, lava and shit, which was just really a pain in the ass, to be honest. A lot of the tracks are a pain in the ass because they'll have turns that either aren't completely clear sometimes, or like they'll have shit like a swimming pool that if you fall into the swimming pool, you're done. You're done. You have to start over, like before or after the swimming pool is where they'll place you. And sometimes I feel like it's impossible to avoid that damn swimming pool. It really is, depending on what you're doing. But then, like, the same map with the swimming pool, for example, has a giant gingerbread man walking through the streets, and like he could stomp on you and kill you, and like every time you make a new lap through the tracks, he's getting closer and closer to where you start that track at. You have to remember where the last time you saw him was at because he's moving so quickly. It's kind of fun. I like that. You also have these little sons of bitches on the track, and they can be in different places. There'll just be like henchmen for whatever map you're on that'll like yell at you and be like, hey, come here, and they'll come chasing at you swinging spears and shit. Or like on some maps, you'll have like a troll with like a stick, and they will knock the hell out of you. Like, they will hit you and you will spin out so bad, you know. They cheat, and a lot of the other character AI cheat in here, like Prince Charming. Fuck that guy. You hate him in the movies, but you really hate him in the games. Now, I didn't play this enough to unlock all of the characters. Like, I didn't get the 3 little pigs on their flying blanket, which I think would have been funny. Kind of like Aladdin. I didn't get that, but I did get things like Humpty Dumpty, and I did a couple of races with Humpty Dumpty, and he kicked ass. I love him. I love the, like, I think he had a British accent, if I remember correctly. It was pretty late last night when I was playing this, but I liked Humpty Dumpty. He was fun. Shrek, by the way, is driving like a fucking giant slug moss monster. I don't know how to explain it. It's on the cover here, but it's pretty lame, you know? But like I said, it doesn't really, the cars don't really handle that well, the vehicles, the monsters, whatever you're riding. And the tracks sometimes feel like they're so turny, like there's so many turns in the tracks and so many ways to just go over plains of grass and stuff that the AI will cheat. And yeah, there's shortcuts and stuff. Some of these things are not clear-cut shortcuts. There's no way you would even think to use those things unless you held back at the beginning of a race, watched where all the AI went, and then followed them on the next courses, and you could probably win everything doing that. But some of the courses involving castles, especially one where you're going around like the moat and shit that's empty around a castle, which is like one of the worst maps in here in my opinion, because there's bridges that are out, and you'll just fall into a big-ass ditch and have to go through that a way longer way throughout the map. Those things suck. Those things suck, and they make the game not fun anymore. But anyway, I don't think I would ever 100% this game, because there was something I unlocked. After I unlocked like 3 characters in the tournament mode, apparently there is another option where you can do a mirrored version, which is basically just reversing the tracks. You go backward through them. And I didn't want to do all those tracks again, so I just kind of ended the game last night. I'm familiar enough that I think I get what happens here. It's your typical kart racer, and that's all I wanted to talk about was how it plays and whatnot. And the scenery, and the characters, and the cars. Because it's really all that matters in something like this. You don't need to play the game to 100% to appreciate it, in my opinion, because it's not like it's a story mode or something. But this is a decent, jump in with friends and play it type of game. And I told my wife last night too, because we played this a couple of times together in the past. I think it's better to play it either with a friend or have a friend in the room, like watching what happens with you, because there's so much shit that can happen, like getting caught on something, or again, falling into a swimming pool, or being stepped on by a giant gingerbread man. Those things are funny enough and irritating enough to be funny that I think you guys would have a great time. But when you're by yourself, it's like playing Lego Racer for the Nintendo 64 and you want to rip your eyes out of your head because it's ridiculously unfair in every way possible. But anyway, I enjoy the game. I enjoy it. I just don't think it's that great. I don't understand why this is considered so classic. It's kind of, in my opinion, it's more of a cult classic. I don't care what anybody says. It's not as awful as something that's not really a kart racer, but something like DT Racer, for example, which if you know DT Racer, and I'm about to review the sequel to it, DT Carnage, by the way, that's the other game I was playing last night. If you know DT Racer, you know it's fucking ridiculous. You know? This game is not insane like that with, like, the physics. But it's really, really dull. You know? By the way, as much as I like a lot of the scenery in this game, despite the bullshit of the tracks and all the twists and failures there, it's not a very colorful game. You would think it would be a lot more beautiful. I think what they're trying to do is make it look a lot more like the Shrek movies, which, again, with the animation styles and whatnot, those are colorful films, beautifully. So, in my opinion, this game is not so much that. It's probably a budgetary thing, or a graphics thing. Maybe there's a reason it's not as colorful, but I just don't think it's that colorful. Which is why I think a lot of the maps look kind of lackluster sometimes, depending on what we're talking about. Anyway, Shrek Smash and Crash Racing. Yeah, did you see that I got the title right, without messing it up this time? It's a fine, okay game, but it's kind of underneath average, the way these things feel, the way everything drives, and I wish it had engines. I know that's such a stupid complaint, like I said, but you don't realize how much it's missing until you play this, and you realize something audibly is not there that should be there. And some games get around that by having not regular engines, but like something that sounds like it. Like Star Wars Super Bombad Racing is one of my favorite games ever for Star Wars or racing. It's like a cartoonish Mario Kart game. It's awesome. I love that game. People hate it to death. It is so much better than this shit. It just is. I'm sorry, it's the truth. I need to replay that and review it one day. But this is okay. Really, really, really okay. So what are your thoughts on Shrek Smash and Crash Racing? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know all your thoughts and comments down below. Do you consider this great? Do you consider this a classic? I gotta know if you do, because it surprises me so deeply that people are coming so heavily at me with this on review videos on YouTube. How did this get so popular, of all things? It has to be the Shrek meme, right? Like, people meme the hell out of Shrek. People grew up on Shrek like I did, and people buy fucking TVs from back in the 2000s. CRTVs with Shrek, you know, as a head around the fucking TV, with the ears and everything. It's got to be a meme, bro. There's got to be a meme reason why people are making this thing into a bigger deal than it actually is. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and comments down below about the game. What's your favorite kart racer? I love talking to you guys about stuff like that anyway, because it's one of my favorite types of arcade racers to play. One of my favorite types of games to play the older I get. And, yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.